My name is Steven Gustellum, and I did my topic on Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. I had worked with many different sites while employed for different school districts. Within different socioeconomic areas, I had seen a lot of students from different backgrounds with different experiences to shape who they are today. For example, in my first year working as a student intern, I had been personally assigned to work as a mentor for a student. At the time, I was 18. I didn't understand what being a mentor meant. I had thought I was supposed to help the student in second grade with their math worksheets. I had no understanding that the student was going from foster home to foster home, or even how to handle a delicate situation such as that. This student had been acting out because of the impacts of the abuse they had faced on a daily basis. Looking back in the situation, I feel like I wish I knew what I know now. I wish I could utilize the framework known as UDL to assist with the educational support that that student needed to support for that extra help. N- Now, before I begin talking about the utilization of UDL and how I would use it within my personal classroom, or how it has benefited students that are considered at risk, I want to talk about the definition of UDL. So UDL, or Universal Design for Learning, is defined as a pedagogical framework. It uses different approaches to teach all students that they can learn in separate ways. An educator must provide equitable educational opportunities to be able to reach out for each and every student. What does equitable mean, though? How is equitable different than equal? The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines being equitable as dealing fairly or equally with all concerned. However, equal, on the other hand, is to treat everyone in the same manner. The product stemming from being equitable in terms of education should be as important to that of their peers. Treating everyone equal is not the same as treating everyone with equity. As per CAST and the CAST website that houses the framework of UDL, there are several steps to understand and to take before teachers are able to implement this program within their classrooms. They must provide multiple means for those students. For example, there are three brain networks that break down the why, the what, and the how of learning. The why is the engagement portion of the brain. It is used to motivate those students to stimulate interest in a way that would engage them. The what of learning for those students is to be resourceful, understanding how to utilize and present knowledge in different ways that may be beneficial to them. And lastly, the how. The how of learning for those students is to understand that they have a goal. They can differentiate the expression of what they know and utilize that into how they will learn. These brain networks function in unison with one another for each student, some stronger than others. It is just dependent on the educator to use each brain network in each lesson. Which now leads me to how and in which areas UDL can be used in, such as the goals of each lesson, the instruction that is taught on a daily basis, the materials that the students have access to, and the way in which assessments the students are given. First, the goals. The goals within the curriculum taught to the students are reiterated as expectations for the students. To get to the set goal of each lesson, different methodological approaches of teaching should be enforced and utilized. For example, an educator must be clear with each goal for each student. However, getting to said goal is flexible. The students can achieve that goal through different options, all whilst there is encouragement from the educator. The product of such will be an enthusiastic student ready and willing to learn each day. The second pillar of form that can be utilized to impact the students positively is instruction. To summarize the best approach to teaching a student, the teacher must understand that the old archaic methods such as listen and do as I say without reasoning and variety it's unproductive. It's also unbeneficial for the students. Rather, while using the UDL framework, a teacher can look at supporting different networks using different tools to be effective, strategic, and also recognizing when to praise or encourage the students. So effectively, or in relation to the effective networks, UDL gives the students a choice of content and tools, different levels of challenge that would benefit how they learn, and also different rewards. Strategically, a teacher can give the students different levels of feedback from the completed work. It also gives them opportunities to show how they can demonstrate their skill. and gives the students different opportunities to practice with support, all while continuously being encouraged in every aspect that the teacher can provide. Within my observation, I had noticed that this was concurrent. The teacher had continuously given the students different ways to practice what they're learning by giving the students options to get to the same solution regarding math. But that leads me to how the teacher was able to do that. Each student within the classroom had a box of materials given to them by the teacher. Those materials were everything from simple books, paper, pens, to a dry erase board. Those students even had an iPad that had a pre-downloaded application using manipulatives for the students to learn and utilize. The UDL framework states that materials and those given to the students are done so to engage the learners while they're aligning to those goals. The last of those pillars is assessment provided for the students. Assessments should be provided in the progress of the student. They should be flexible to the outcomes of the student's performance and structured to benefit the student by informing them of how they're doing rather than the grade they will receive. But the breakdown of each pillar is but only a part of how students will benefit from UDL. To get a better understanding of how UDL can be used within a classroom, I personally believe you have to look at previous examples of UDL being used within other classrooms. For example, Pacheco Guthrie had used UDL within their kindergarten course. And they did so by passing out iPads to all the students and having the students pull up a weather simulation app. With this application, the students were able to control the different weather conditions and be able to see and actively change the weather at the touch of a finger. They could change it to rain, snow, or a basic sunny day. But while the students were having fun with this activity, they were also, one, using the iPads, which is considered technology, but they were formulating questions. They were, these different questions could be that of cause and effect, or comparing and contrasting the weather conditions to one another. And as a result, the students are able to interpret those weather conditions in a way that they weren't able to before without this lesson. So UDL creates a sense of individuality within the classroom. It is catered to each and every student so they can learn at their own pace, but at the same time, they're all meeting the same goal. But I want to focus on at-risk students at this moment. These students might be in your classroom or are in certain classrooms that you've taught currently. So who are at-risk students? At-risk students are those that have a higher likelihood of failing than their peers. And this is because of the variables that might be affecting them at home or within their life in general. But UDL gives these students a sense of inclusion, a sense of belonging. These students are able to remember all the lessons and what is being taught so they can best learn from being part of the classroom. The memory retention level is higher than it was without UDL. Each student is learning differently. So within this diverse classroom, every student is able to grasp an understanding of the lesson. Which now leads me to what I've learned and if I'll use UDL in my future classroom. Yes, I will, but I have to first understand what that first step is, which is the instructional planning from the CAST website and to understand exactly how to implement UDL within my class. So I'm going to have to inquire on what steps I need to take. I need to plan on around the different variables that my students might bring to the class, reflect on each day, and then act upon what I've reflected on. So creating a better lesson for each and every student. So when that preparation is complete within my future classroom, I want to be able to provide that UDL environment each and every day. I want to give the students a choice of how to complete each lesson. I want to give them the sense of inclusivity when it comes to how they learn. And I want to provide the equitable opportunities that are available to not only their counterparts, but to them as well. I want all the students to be successful because I understand that everything that is taught to them, they will internalize and then be able to reciprocate. Thank you.